There are things in life that are going to happen to you as you get older, and these are things that I wish somebody had told me when I was in my 30s and 40s. A lot of older people don't really talk about it, or they only say a phrase or two, and it's just sort of an offhand kind of statement. Anyways, here are 3 things that I found that I faced when I turned 60. And number 1 is a loss of friends and family. You grow up your whole life, and I can remember going to Christmases and going visiting aunts, uncles, cousins, and we lived in an area where we were also very heavily involved in a church. My dad was, so there was this family and secondary family like the cousins and the uncles and that, and there was also this church family. So as when I was younger, there was a lot of just family. It just seemed like there was a lot of people around all the time. And myself, I'm an introvert, believe it or not. And I was an introvert then as a young person. And I kind of remember always wanting to kind of be alone and get away from the crowd. But my parents were always, not that they were great entertainers or anything, but they visited a lot of people. And that's kind of the way it was back in the day. That's the community. I mean, something like television or something that was on television was always secondary. A family, if someone come in and knocked on your door, it was 7 or 8 o'clock at night, you let them in, you turned the TV down, which to me was the wrong thing. It's like, hey, let's finish this episode. I want to know how the story ends. But I guess they had their priorities straight, or other people were not as respectful as they should be. But that's the way it was. When you're younger, and even if you have a single parent family or something, you're going to realize that as you get older, generally speaking, what happens is older people will die off for sure, or you will move away and you won't be able to see them anymore. And then you get more and more isolated as you get older. And that's something that, even though maybe some people said that when I was younger, and I sort of like, oh, that's a long ways off. But not really, because before you know it, blink of an eye, and here we are in our 60s and 70s and whatnot. And you have to go out and look for company and look for people to have around you if you really want that. Your work family that you had and you felt you were so close to, that you went in every day and you were with several people or maybe more that you worked with, and you got close to them and you knew what was going on in their lives, what their children's lives, what they were doing, what they were doing for vacation and holidays if they had any. And it was kind of another family that you had. So as you get older, you tend to get away from the steady work. You tend to either go into retirement, or what I consider myself as is semi-retired. And so you're not rubbing shoulders with people so much anymore, even in a workplace. So you start to lose community a lot as you get older. The second thing you'll notice as you get older, and this is something that really surprised me. It really did, because I think that you sort of think as you're younger that things are going to continue. You're in the noon time of your life, so to speak, and you think the sun is always going to be high. But then what happens is, the 1 o'clock of your life comes, and the 2 o'clock and the 3 o'clock, and then sun starts to set. And when it does, you start realizing, man, I'm getting older. And that you start realizing that aging really sort of happens fast. I mean, that extra energy that you had, that you complained about being tired all the time when you were 20, you start going into your 40s and 50s, and that starts to decline. I know everyone has a different story, and I know there's people out there that are 75 and they're lifting weights and they got lots of energy and they're running a mile. I'm just talking about the rest of us. No, I'm talking about just the average person that tries to keep their health somewhat, eat somewhat healthy, and or they think they are, and get some exercise. But aging really happens whether or not you want it to happen, and it's going to hit at some age. Maybe it won't be 50, maybe it won't be 60, maybe it won't be 70. But what will happen is the shock of it happening, at least in my case, is it seems to be a series, and I've talked about this in other videos. I remember in my 40s, I still distinctly remember this, and this is kind of embarrassing in a way, but I was having a shower, and I just was drying myself up, and I said, what's that? And it's like, it was a tag. A tag. Like, I've got a tag. And I think I was actually going to a doctor's appointment. I was actually embarrassed. I'm like, the doctor's not even going to think about this, but I'm like, I've got a tag. And it's like, what? Like, where'd that come from? You know, sometimes you get them around, you know, places that you're, you know, always there's extra movement and that. And I'm like, well, oh man, I'm getting old. It wasn't so much that just having a tag makes you old. I mean, you might get them when you're 20. But I think it just hit me at that moment how my body was changing. And I did find that as I got into my 50s, my mental health declined, and I had to deal with a lot of mental health struggles and get some help that way, both medicinally and try to do different therapies and counseling and kind of get through that. So that was kind of rough. And so as you're shifting, your mind shifts, your body shifts, and this aging happens, and then all of a sudden you're having an issue with, I mean, I hope it's not like cancer or anything, but like a bad kind of cancer. I mean, probably we're all going to get cancer sooner or later if we live long enough. But, you know, what happens is, in my case, I remember all of a sudden I had, for years, I mean, this had been going on for years, I had trouble, and doctors couldn't find out what was wrong with me. But eventually I was diagnosed with necrotic gallbladder. It went that long, and I had tests upon tests. So what happened too was in the hospital at the same time. I was about to get out of the hospital, and they said I'd only be in there 24 hours, but this was a serious gallbladder issue, and I ended up there for 5 days. During the first 24 hours, I realized that I could not go to the bathroom, I could not use the washroom, I could not pass water, whatever you want to call it, and I ended up with something I had been dealing with, went into hyperdrive mode right after the surgery, and it was benign prostate hyperplasia, it's called, you know, and I couldn't go to the washroom. So there it was. I ended up in a catheter for 5 months waiting for surgery, while at the same time getting over necrotic gallbladder surgery. So what I found is that, and then when one thing happens, it tends to, even though you get that thing fixed, it tends to take a little nick out of you. And like my wife would say, you know, every time people say, they say, oh, I'm feeling 100% after they get over the flu. Actually, probably not. We probably, every time we get sick, even though we get over it, we do get a little stronger. I don't want to depress you, but there is a sense too that we never get back 100%. Okay, let me go on to the third point. The third point you find as you get older is at the time, remember I was talking about how it's sort of like noonday sun when you're in your 20s and 30s, and you think you're getting old when you're in your 20s and 30s. It's just shocking to hear that. It's like, oh, I'm getting so old, you know, I'm almost 30. But what you find is that as you age, it really seems like the days go by faster and faster. I mean, it's like, before you know it, I'm getting ready for bed, I realize that every single night, now maybe it's because I'm concentrating on it more, but it really does seem like each day just chews up. You think you're going to get certain things done, but each day goes faster and faster. And that's what it seems like. And I can remember one of my aunts used to saying, the older you get, the faster and the shorter the days are. And I'm like, what? That doesn't make sense, because a day is always a day. But it really will come across as seeming like your days are going faster as you get older. So those are 3 things that I wish somebody would have really emphasized to me, is that when you get to this point in life, you really have to prepare yourself mentally. Your body's going to age. It's not going to be there for you the same as it was. I mean, I used to push mine very hard. At the work that I used to do, I used to have very physical labor that I had done, and I used to push it a lot. And I'm feeling that now. I am in my older years. And you don't get it back. Not quite, not the same. That I wish somebody would had kind of told me that days go faster. Your health is everything when you get older. It's like when you get up that morning and you feel like getting up early and doing some things, and you know it could be a good day. That is just a special day. That really is. So, and that you also, as you get older, you tend to lose more people in your life, and there you are, kind of on your own. Anyways, I just wanted to say that there's those 3 things, and I'm wondering what you guys think, and if you'd leave them in your comments, if you think it's the same way. Now, I do know that the one takeaway from this is, and it doesn't matter how old you are, this is the one takeaway from at least these 3 points or anything, is that make the very best of your life today as you want it to be. Do something today you want. Plan for something for tomorrow, for next year, for 5 years, whatever you got left, whatever you got left. You know, plan it as best you can. Life can surprise us, and life can take away things that we've planned, whether it be by fire, by flood, whatever, asteroids out of the sky. But try to make the best of every day, because if you don't, it'll slip away on you, and the only good days you'll have is those ones that you just get by luck. You don't want to count on that. You want to be prepared. Anyways, thanks for watching. These are 3 things I found that I aged. You guys have a great one, and now you know. Okay, see you in the next video. Thanks, bye.